nerds. It is me, your host, Jeremiah Duncan. I'm bringing to you a very special one today. It means the world to me because it is included with one of my favorite films of all time, but we're going to talk about the box set. Let's talk about the Exorcist IV DVD box set. It's beautiful, the complete anthology. I love it. This is, again, if you don't know the channel or you don't know me, there's multiple times where I've talked about how The Exorcist is my favorite movie of all time. I just love it. I get giddy watching it. But we're going to talk about all these. So, here it is. The Scream of the Crop. The scariest and most fascinating collection of movies in modern horror. At the center of these ultimate clashes between darkness and light are intrepid souls who dare to look evil in the eye and unsheath the weapon of faith. The struggle begins with the trend-setting The Exorcist, which this is actually presented in the original theatrical version and the longer versions you've never seen, reissue. Exorcist II, The Heretic, and The Exorcist III, bringing added perspectives, blood-curdling visuals, and shocks to the harrowing tale. And the two prequel stories by two different directors, we'll talk about that, of Dominion and The Beginning. Enrich the original by revealing the amazing genesis of the battle between Father Merrin and humanity's most insidious foe. So, love these. I could talk about all these days, talk about these movies all day long, but I'm going to try to blaze through them because this is a lot. I don't want you to be bored on the channel, but we got to talk about every single one of these. So, and we're going to rate them, okay? And see what we get a rating overall on this, all right? So without further ado, let's talk about number one right here, The Exorcist. Okay, 1973, rated R, 2 hours and 2 minutes. My favorite film of all time. It's won 2 Oscars. I think on IMDb, it was like number 225 best movies of all time. Highest grossing Warner Brothers film of all time, which is wild to think of a horror movie just ranking that in. You know, it's just insane. So groundbreaking, great. Here's what the back says. One of the all-time spellbinders possesses you all over again. Re-experience the primal chill of the peerless 1973 original theatrical version, and with 2000s the version you've never seen. Director William Friedkin and producer screenwriter William Peter Blatty revisit the masterwork to integrate 11 minutes of scenes and images deleted before the film's original release and digitally restored the picture and audio elements. Now seeing our moments, deepening the impact of the performance by Linda Blair, and yada yada. So, fantastic. 8.5 out of 10. It's probably the best film ever made, my humble opinion, but I just love it. The groundbreakingness of it, the cinematography, just super fantastic. Moving on. Exorcist II, The Heretic. Okay. This came out in 1977, was rated R, runs for an hour and 57 minutes, and not a strong follow-up. It's quite the turd, if I can be so blunt. It does feature Louise Fletcher, I believe, who was in Flowers in the Attic. Linda Blair even said this was one of the biggest disappointments of her entire career, and she was even in Playboy, if that tells you anything. It's honestly sad that you had this film that was just at the pinnacle, and then they drop this, and it is no good if you aren't familiar with it. Bizarre Nightmares plague Reagan McNeil, played by Linda Blair. 4 years after her possession and exorcism, has the demon returned? And if so, can the combined faith and knowledge of a Vatican investigator and a hypnotic research specialist free her from its grasp? Employing production design and special effects that are dizzily exhilarating and a supporting cast. Anyway, it's not exhilarating. It's a turd. I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. It only probably got that high because it was still Exorcist and still had Linda Blair. But 4 out of 10. Not the greatest. Moving on. The Exorcist III. We're back. This should have been the sequel. This is what needed to be number 2 because this film is fantastic. 1990, rated R, hour and 50 minutes. The story, the acting, all of it is wonderful. You have to watch this one. You can skip The Heretic. If you want to watch it just for shits and giggles, watch it. But man, you have to watch this one. It's truly the sequel that the first one deserved. And let's just forget number 2 happened. Here's the rough rundown. A woman crawls by unnoticed on the ceiling like a fly. A long-dead killer claims victim after victim. Flames erupt, snakes slither, The ground opens and reveals a writhing pit of the damned. The evil is back. Also is the creative force who novel and Oscar-winning screenplay shaping the trailblazing The Exorcist. Adapting his novel Legion, William Peter Blatty writes and directs The Exorcist III, a jolting foray into the terror that begins where the first film ended. See what they did? They said, you know what? We don't even think number 2 happened. We're coming out with number 3 because, whoa, that was bad. Moving on. 7 out of 10 on number 3 because it was fantastic. All right. Let's bring up more of a shitstorm for the Exorcist franchise, if you will. So, we got 2 films here. We've got The Exorcist, The Beginning, and we've got Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist. This was a complete crap show right here. So, let's talk about Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist. 2005, rated R. Runs for an hour and 57 minutes. It's co-written by William Washer, who did T1 and T2 movies. Also did Judge Dredd. This is the film that the production company wanted to release. This is what they wanted you to have. This is the prequel to everything that this is what they wanted. It was not that. It was okay. It wasn't that great. It was okay. The first half of this film is good. It's definitely worth watching, but it definitely peters out and ends with horrible special effects and is very sad, very sad. The CGI is awful, but it's still better than Heretic, you know. So that is that. Essentially, lastly, Exorcist: The Beginning. That is essentially the same movie as Dominion, which Dominion was a 5 out of 10. Exorcist: The Beginning, 5 out of 10. They're equals, but they tried to do the same movie. So here's what happened. Exorcist: The Beginning, 2004, released a year before this one, all right? Rated R, hour and 54 minutes. Features James D'Arcy, who was in American Haunting. This was made to be more of a psychological thriller and a drama. That's what the director, Paul Schrader, wanted to go for when he was hired to take this film on. So he films the whole thing. He was hired and fired. He gone. 90% of the cast gone. They just got rid of everybody because they were like, here's our film, here's the prequel. And they're like, this is crap. This is not what we told you to do. And we don't like it. So you're all fired. So they had enough money, probably off the first one, to be able to redo this and come out with Dominion. But they re-released it as Dominion. Different. The story's almost not even the same because it was so chopped up and changed because they wanted it to be completely different. It is slow and not scary, but shot not to be horror. So I guess they succeeded because they kind of wanted to be more psychological. But both of them are worth the watch. Dominion worth the watch, 5 out of 10. Exorcist: The Beginning, 5 out of 10. But there's so much drama all involved in The Exorcist. But I still love it. Both films, fantastic. Overall, this box set, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 9. Or 8 out of 10, I'm sorry. 8 out of 10. Should probably be closer to 7.5 because you got the number 2 dragging it down. But it's the freaking Exorcist, and it's my favorite, so what can I do? Awesome box set. You need this in your collection, at least to get each one of the films. This is just a little bit easier, so they're all compiled right here. The Exorcist 4 DVD box set, 5 movies. Check it out. It's worth the watch. I loved it. If you've seen any or all these films, comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, subscribe, hit the death bell for notifications. I got more coming to you. Stick around.